Craftiana, today I'll be showing you how I customize these shot glasses from the Dollar Tree. I put a rhinestone border out on the bottom of them. I gave it a little birthday, a little Scorpio sign, and an initial. Now I showed you how to do that part in another video, but this is about the rhinestones, okay? So let's get into it. It starts in Cricut Design Space. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on images. I'm just going to type in Scorpio. It's a Scorpio season. You know, everybody wants the Scorpio stuff. I do pay for Cricut access, so do with that information as you will. I like this first little scorpion out, so I'm going to click on that and I'm just going to close that. It pops up on my screen rather large, and I'm just going to size that down to the size of our shot glass, okay? And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to save that image because I might want to use that again a little later, and I need to be able to easily find that, okay, Craftiana, because sometimes they get lost. So my width was a size 1.36 and a height of a 1.76 inches, okay? Now I do go back and adjust that size a little later, but either one of these width and heights will be just fine for this shot glass. So after I got that done, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on text, and I'm just going to type in the initial that I want. I'm going to type in the letter M, and then I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to click at the top. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm going to click on these fonts, and I know what font I want to use. I'm going to go into my system, and I downloaded a font from whatthefont.com, and I'm going to search for Impact because I knew I wanted a bold and nice thick chunky font for this, okay? I wanted to look slightly aggressive. I didn't want no thin font, and I know Impact was going to do the job, Craftiana. Excuse me. So I'm adjusting that to the width and height I want. Just playing with that. You need to make sure you have a measuring tape, Craftiana, and you measure out whatever area that you want to put that on, so you know how big or how small you need to make whatever project you're working on. So I got that, bam, and I'm adjusting that and playing with that. I'm just seeing what I really want to do, okay? And I don't know what size I wanted because I didn't even measure my shot glass, and I went back and measured my shot glass and came back to do it. Then I'm gonna adjust this scorpion size to a width of 1.45 inches and a height of 1.8 inches. I want it a little bigger, and you can make that initial the same size as the scorpion, okay, just to keep it a little even. Then I'm going to go over here to text. I'm using that same Impact font. I'm going to type in 11 for the birthday. Then I'm going to go over here to the shapes, and I'm going to click on a square. I'm going to go up here to the top. I'm going to unlock that height and width so I can adjust it to however I want it to be, and I'm just going to make a little line, okay? I'm making a line to make it like a little fraction, and that's going to go right under this 11. Bam, you see that? I put it right up under that 11. How close or how far you want it from that 11 is your preference and your choice, boo. You do what you want to do. Then I'm going to go back to text. I'm going to type in 16, and then I'm going to have that right there, right up under that fraction. Then I'm just going to adjust that line, making sure it's kind of centered. And for my height and width of this little square part that we reduced to that little line was a width of 0.92 inches and a height of 0.1 inches. Here I am adjusting those numbers 11 and 16 to make it closer to that line. Once I got it to where I like it, I'm going to highlight all of that, and I'm going to center horizontally. I clicked on a line at the top and I centered it horizontally, so that made that 11 and 16 directly in the middle of that little line or fraction, okay? And then after I got all that, I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to click on this left little pin in this corner section, and I'm going to click on weld, and that just makes it stay all in one place when we go to cut it. I'm going to go over here to make, and now it's time to make our project. Wide out, tight out. This is how it's going to look on our Cricut mat when we load our vinyl, and that's exactly where it's going to cut out. That's our mat preview. And click on our paper. I clicked on permanent vinyl, premium vinyl for my cut setting. So I just use some regular premium vinyl. I have my Cricut on to cut out that, and then I'm going in and I'm just weeding these images out after my Cricut already cut all of this out. So I'm just weeding the images out and taking that excess vinyl out because we don't need nothing that's not supposed to be there. Taking my transfer tape. I use the Tape Man blue transfer tape. You can find that in my description box. You can get it down from Amazon. It should be linked in my Amazon in my Amazon storefront of the Cricut supplies. So I'm just cutting down my transfer tape to size because I already had this piece right and ready to go. So we just adjusting that to where it needs to be, and I'm moving, taking my little precious time. Come on, Branch, you can move a little faster than that. The Craftianas, y'all they not slow. They know how to put some transfer tape up on some vinyl. I don't know what I was doing, but something got lost in the sauce and distracted, but Oh, here we go. Okay, so here I am. Got my little shot glasses ready already. They nice and clean. Make sure you clean your shot glasses. I like to wash mine with soap and water, completely dry that, then rub it with alcohol. Okay, we need the best chance of adhesion and longevity and all that good old jazz crafty on it. So I'm taking my transfer tape, putting it right directly on one of my vinyl pieces, and I'm just burnishing that on with my little scraper, scrudgy tool. You can find those also in my description box. And I like to pull the backing away from my vinyl, as you can see, and not the transfer tape away from the there. So I'm laying that on here, making sure it's flush. You want to make sure this is laying seamless. You don't want no air bubbles. You want everything laying down. So I'm making sure that's nice and on there, and I actually got a little air bubble and crinkle, so I have to lift that up and fix it. So just fix it real quick, and I'm rubbing that on with my little squeegee tool, and I'm gonna peel this off gently. Be gentle, because sometimes I'm a little rough, and as you can see, I lift that up, but you just press that right on down, Craftiana. And vinyl needs 3 days to cure before you use it, so don't wet it, don't do nothing, don't use it. Let it sit there and cure for 3 days. So I'm just gonna repeat the process and put the rest of these little decals up on the shot glasses. Okay, so make sure before you give it to your customer, before you use it or whatever, your vinyl needs to cure up onto that glass, so we don't have no issues, and ain't nobody trying to call and tell you my stuff is coming on, my stuff is coming out. We don't need none of that. Okay, got that up on there, got the M up on there. Wham. So I'm taking my Royal Glitz diamond glue, and now I'm going in with the SS16 clear rhinestone crafty on, and I'm just going to do a base row after each of these shot glasses. I'm going to do 3 rows in total, but I'm just going to do the first row on each glass, because I like my base row to dry, because when we go in with our next rows on top of that, it won't shift those rhinestones. Now this Royal Glitz diamond glue was drying up for some reason. I had another one that went completely dry, and I only used like 1 or 2 times, and it just would not come out the tube, and I feel like this one is starting to do the same. So I end up switching my cling the bling to my cling the bling glue, because I just didn't feel like fighting with no glue and squeezing with all my might to get it out of there. I do like the Royal Glitz diamond glue, but it does dry fast, and like it has a short working time. Cling the Bling has a longer working time, and I just don't like the Royal Glitz has been drying up in my tubes. Like this is my second one, and I don't know what's the issue. So I'll switch to Cling the Bling. So I did my base row on all 3 of those. Now I'm just honeycombing my way up. I'm doing 2 more rows on top of that. If you need to learn how to honeycomb or bling out something, I do have tutorials on my other videos on in detail on how to bling. So I did 2 rows of that, and I'm just going on and moving on to my other shot glasses, and we're just gonna repeat that process, and that's pretty much the finished product. Okay, crafty on it. This tutorial was supposed to end here, but then I said I'm gonna have the bright idea, and I'm gonna decorate the box. I was supposed to spray paint it, but I didn't have no yellow spray paint that I wanted to use. And then I was like, oh, let me try to wrap one of the little Dollar Tree boxes in vinyl, like I seen people been doing. Like people been doing this for a long time. Okay, I never claimed I was the first to do this. Okay, I never claimed I was the first to do none of this. Like people be chill out. Okay, so here's the little finished product of the shot glasses. They came out so cute. And your glue also needs to cure on your rhinestones before you use it, Craftiana, before you send it to somebody. So here I got my little Dollar Tree box, and this ain't really a tutorial portion. This was just me figuring some stuff out. So I'm cutting that vinyl to this back panel size a little bit and make sure I have a straight edge. So I'm gonna peel this corner up, and then I'm gonna rub that down real good. And I'm just gonna take my X-Acto knife and just trim off these edges, okay? And I'm just slicing this little slit open. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Take my vinyl, lift that little corner up. I'm sorry, I had got a message and it had tickled me. I'm sorry, Craftiana. It took me a long time to get this little corner up, and I was over here fighting for my life. And I'm only pulling the backing up so far, and I'm just take my squeegee and rub that down. So I'm just again taking my X-Acto knife and cutting all that out. Be careful, because this little X-Acto knife is sharp, and I would suggest using a fresh blade for stuff like this, because it makes the cutting process easier. So I'm going in, cutting that middle part, and once again, this was my first time, so it was a slightly learning curve, and it's pretty easy though. I would tweak some stuff, make sure it fit a little better. And I noticed that box was lifting right there, so this box was not a good candidate for this. Okay, so I'm putting this up in there, and I'm lining them up nice and right. Okay, and just adjusting them to where I want them to fit at, and sit them real cute or whatever, Craftiana. But that's pretty much the finished product. I did end up decorating the box with some vinyl. You'll see that at the end when I show you the finished product. Okay, So once you got that all lined up and up in there, you decorate your box how you want to, okay, Craftiana? So you better get into it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and it helps me a lot. Please, please, please. And then follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Brand So Crafty, all the same name on all my platforms. It really, really helps me a lot. I appreciate y'all's love and support. So here's the box decorated. It's cute, and make sure you check my description box. A lot of the information will be there. And here's the back. It says Scorpio, get into it, and you better get into it.